What's up, family? I want to talk to you guys about a couple things today. Today, we're going to talk about lovers. Lovers. And because we're talking about lovers, I put on my little green jade ring. I've had this ring for about 8, 9 years now. So, lovers. I love talking about love. I do. Everything that I do, I try to base my life on manifesting and giving and displaying love. Everything that I try to say, I try to come from a place of love. Lovers. It's interesting how when people come out of relationships, they always talk about the other person. They always talk about what they learned in regards to the other person they were in a relationship with. From the aspect of why they chose that person, how that person wasn't good for them, um, why that person was a bad fit for them. Rarely do you hear people talk about what they learned about themselves when they get out of a failed relationship. And if you do hear them talk about themselves, it's always from the standpoint, I can't say always, but the great majority of the time is always, I'm going to say always again, the great majority of the time is from the standpoint of being a victim of the other person's actions, of loving somebody who didn't love them back, um, of caring for somebody who didn't care for them back, of being in a relationship with somebody who mistreated them or took advantage of them, who dogged them out. And rarely do you hear them say those things about themselves, that they were the perpetrators of those things. The great majority of us don't like having those discussions when we're quote unquote the bad guy. We don't want to see ourselves as the bad guy. And so we spend a lot of time on the person that we were in a relationship with and wondering why we chose that person. And we completely miss the point. Talking about lovers, we completely miss it. And what do I mean by we miss it? I'm going to answer that, but before I answer that, I'm going to digress for a second. I'm going to ask you some questions. Have you ever fell in love with somebody who didn't love you back? Have you ever fell in love with somebody, I mean madly in love with somebody, who completely disregarded you, dismissed you, didn't want to spend the time or the energy to fulfill you? You knew how faithful you were. You knew how loving and supportive you were. And they just dismissed you. You knew how loving and caring and nurturing you were. And they still ignored you. You knew how you just wanted the best interest. All that you had was just you guys' best interest at heart. And they're like, psh, completely dismissed you. And they gave all their energy, their attention to somebody else. Or there was a friend, one of the homies, or another person of the opposite sex, or even somebody of the same sex. But it wasn't you. If the truth be told, that happens to the great majority of us a lot. Happens to all of us a lot. And we get consumed with men, they're narcissists. We get consumed with they're selfish and they're this and they're that and just all these other things about that other person who we deemed as ruined the relationship. And there's a lesson in every single relationship that we need to learn and we ignore. I'm talking about lovers. From every relationship, every failed relationship, there's a lesson, a reoccurring theme in every single relationship. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. In every failed relationship, the reoccurring theme is that God, source, universe, your greater self, is trying to get your attention. They're trying to get your attention. And it's crazy because how we feel and what we think about that other person, source, God, our greater self, universe, could very easily say the exact same thing about us. Very easily say the exact same thing about us. That's the lesson that we are supposed to learn from every failed relationship. What we see that other person as doing wrong is the exact same things that we are doing wrong to ourselves. Source, God, universe, your greater self, have been trying to get your attention. And you dismiss them. You don't have the time of day. You don't have the energy because you're consumed with trying to make this relationship work. So you put this relationship, this other person, over your greater self, over your true nature, over God, universe, whoever, whatever it is you want to call him. Just for the sake of this video, I'm going to call it source. So you put this other individual above source. Source is nudging you, has been nudging you, trying to get your attention. You don't have time for source because you got to figure out how to make this relationship work, and this relationship is crumbling. And the more you're struggling, fighting, trying to hold on to this relationship, it's actually source nudging you more, pushing you more, pulling you more, trying to draw you in to spend more time with it. But you don't see that. You see this relationship you need to fix. You'll do anything to try to make this relationship work while completely ignoring this relationship here. This is the relationship that really needs to be fixed. This is the relationship that really needs all the work. But we don't see that. We see this other person. We see this other relationship. That's the most important thing. I don't care whether, and when I say I don't care, whether they beat you, abuse you emotionally, physically, whatever the case may be, you do the exact same thing to yourself. You abuse yourself. You tear down yourself. You neglect yourself. You poison yourself with the toxic stuff you put into your body, with the toxic stuff you think about and dwell on. I'm still talking about lovers. So what you see the other person doing or have done wrong is a mirrored reflection of how you've done yourself. Whether they cheat on you or what, them cheating on you is a reflection of you cheating yourself. Them cheating on you is a reflection that you have dogged yourself out. You have put somebody above yourself. You have put things above yourself. I'm still talking about lovers. This is a hard talk. You can't expect somebody to give you something that they don't have. We're expecting and demanding love from other people. And we get pissed and angry because we say they don't have it to give to me, but I see them cheating on me and they're doing all these things for this other person and they're doing this and they're doing that and all this other crazy stuff. All that stuff is a distraction. It's a distraction. It shows you a lesson that you don't want to see. And so instead of seeing the lesson, you see the distraction. And say again, everything else that goes on with that other person and what transpired in your relationship and why your relationship failed, if you don't see the real lesson, you're fixated on the distraction. As long as you're fixated on the distraction, you can't see the lesson. And if you never see the lesson, you'll never grow. And you'll keep getting in relationships and situations where the same thing keeps occurring. Because your greater self, Source, God, is calling you. It's trying to get your attention. There's some things within you that you need to resolve. There's some things within you that you need to heal, that you need to discover, you need to learn. And once you discover and learn those things, then you never have to deal with that situation again. I'm talking about lovers. Stop looking for other people to fix problems in you. Stop looking for people to be a distraction so that you don't have to deal with the stuff within you. Lovers, learn to love yourself. Learn to value and respect and cherish yourself. Learn to nurture yourself. And when you do those things, you'll find your true love. Because your true love will be attracted to the love within you. And that has been manifested outwards. See, all these people that you're hooking up with and the drama and all that, that's what's inside of you. That's what's manifesting out in your relationships. I love you guys. Peace.